Everybody, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Y'all, today we are still on Operation Plant the Garden. I know it has been over a week and I am still planting the garden, but I'm so glad that you're here. So I figured you would do it with me, at least keep me company while I'm talking to you and working at the same time. So if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Please let me know who you are in the comments. If you are new, let me know what city, state, and country you're coming in from. And I would love to know how you found me. Did somebody refer you or did YouTube just recommend you? And I would love for you to be here. And I would ask you to go ahead and subscribe in faith, because I know that you're going to love this channel, love this community, and love this content. My name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee, and y'all, I am passionate when it comes to gardening and growing food, as well as all of the other homesteading topics. But what I've been doing is trying to get my outside garden planted. I have my own internal deadline and I am working towards it. I got 48 hours left on my own internal clock that I've set up for myself. Y'all, so I have a couple of issues. One, I have a lot of plants left. We started over 1,200 seedlings. And so I still have a lot left, but I don't have a lot left of the right thing. Does that make sense? So I ended up going to the nursery today. I know my car, look, y'all, my car it just be in there. It just go in there. So my car went in there. Okay. And I obliged. And so I had to buy me some plants of some stuff that was, that I needed. And so I'm going to show you what I bought from the nursery. I got a really good deal. But I'm also going to show you all the stuff that I have left over. And really, I have a ton of tomatoes left over that I don't have any space for. So anyway, let's talk through that. If you've been here before, you already know the drill. You know, let me just kind of catch everybody up. If you don't know, what I'm sitting in right now is our in-ground garden space. It is 4,000 square feet. Okay, my dog just heard something. It is 4,000 square feet. We have 8 rows that are 100 feet in length each. So it's a lot to plant, right? So in each row, there's probably a good 55 to 60 plants that can go in that row. So if you do that times 8, that's what, 480 plants easily. And so my friends came to help me about a week and a half ago. We had what we call a planting party. We do it every single year. But this year, the numbers were less. Last year, they planted the whole garden in one day. And most years it's been that way. But this year, we only had 4 people. And so they got like half of the garden planted, which I'm so grateful for. But the other half, the other 280 plants, I have been planting with this and this. And so my schedule has been very limited. And so I've only had maybe an hour and a half most days to get out here to plant. So it's taking a while to get it planted. I do see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm not at the end yet. I think in the whole row here, the watermelon row has not been planted. So that needs to be planted. And then I would say I have a half of one row and a half of another row. So I would say combined probably 2 out of 8 rows that still need to be planted. And I'm trying to do it within the next 48 hours. And I'm trying to negotiate where things go because I have plants left over that I don't necessarily have space for what they are, but I've been trying to cram them in here and there. But then I also don't have the plants that I need. So case in point, on my pepper row. So I have 2 rows of peppers. I have a spicy pepper row. And then I have a non-spicy pepper row where I do like my bell peppers and things like that. So this row here is our spicy pepper row. So we have mostly jalapenos in there. And then we have some ají peppers and a couple of cayenne peppers. But I'm still not necessarily short, but I still have space left. Now, I do have more jalapeno pepper plants to put in there, but I don't want the entire whole row to be jalapeno peppers, even though we could use the jalapeno peppers because we make jalapeno salt. But I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to kind of diversify what's in this row. Well, I didn't have anything else because I also have 2 rows of peppers in the high tunnel, right? So if you're new, we have 3 gardening spaces. And so that is why, we grow a lot of plants because we have a lot of spaces to cover. And I don't know, I think I started 180 pepper plants and then 270 something tomato plants. And so I'm out of the pepper plants that I need. All that I have left are jalapeno peppers and some ají peppers. I don't have enough bell peppers. Now, somehow my proportions got off, which has never happened. But hey, that's what happens because I've never not had enough of bell pepper plants. But early in the year, I had somebody helping me with some of my seedlings, and something got off. I don't know, but something got off because my numbers are not adding up. At the end of the day, your girl don't have enough peppers, okay, to go in the non-spicy pepper roast. So I had to go and buy some bell pepper plants. I had enough to take care of the high tunnel. So we have probably about 60 or 70 plants in the high tunnel. And then I needed another 50 for out here. But I'm short like maybe, I don't know, 10 to 12, somewhere along in there. So that's the reason why I went to the nursery, because I needed pepper plants, spicy and non-spicy. And that was pretty much it. Now, I have an abundance of tomatoes, in abundance. I'm going to show you. And I've already planted out, let's see, this whole trellis here all the way down is tomatoes. I have them on half of another row. There's tomatoes. And then I have 2 rows in the high tunnels of tomatoes. Now, here is the deal. Some of these plants, or a lot of these plants, I can use in the back of my house. So if you're new here, we do have 5 raised beds in the back of our house, soon to be 6. See, you didn't know another one was coming, but another one is coming. And so I will have space, but right now that space is being taken up by my garlic and onions, which I will be able to harvest in 2 weeks. But look, y'all, let me turn the camera around and show you some of these plants, because I don't know if they're going to make it. But if they can make it, I can use them. Okay. Y'all, they look tired. They like, look, sis, please. So I have these 2 trays of tomatoes. Let me skip over this because all of that is not tomatoes. I have this tray. You can see they just look worn out. They need to be out of these pots. Now, very likely you put them in the ground, they're going to perk back up and be just fine. More tomato plants there. More tomato plants there. More tomato plants there. They just don't look the best. But if they got in the ground and got fertilized in some good soil, most of them would be A-okay. Ask me how I know, because I've done it so many times before. But I don't have a place to put all these tomato plants. So unfortunately, some of these are going to have to go away. And they did not sell. I didn't have very many people buy tomato plants, which was different than before. And at this point, I wouldn't sell them because they look bad. Like, I could sell them for like $1. They need to be watered too. So y'all, I got all these tomato plants. When I tell you I hate to throw them away, there is no gardener that loves to throw plants away. It breaks my heart. I wish, out of all the space that I have, I don't have enough space for all these tomato plants. Now, I will have space if they could make it to, and I'm not willing to up pot them, because it's probably 100 tomato plants right here. And I probably can't use 100, but I could probably use 20 of them, right? And I would hate to have to go buy some when I already had some, but I don't know that they're going to make it 2.5 weeks. I'm not willing to up pot them because there's way too many of them, way too many. Maybe I will up pot some. That could be an option. Maybe I can up pot some, 10 or 20, and try to save them for the back of the house. And the rest of them, I guess I'm just going to have to compost them. I don't even know. I don't know. But it's better to have more than enough than not. And again, I didn't pay for them. I paid for them in terms of seeds, but I started all these seeds. It's not like I bought these plants and then I didn't use them. I started them all from seed. And so the cost that I'm losing is very minimal, like very minimal, right? Because a lot of these, I might have put, 2 or 3 seeds in a cup, and then, I split those. Yeah. I don't know. Now, what I have been doing is that as tomato plants have been transplanted, if they're not making it, then I have gone ahead and replace it, because I got plenty to replace with. So I have been doing that, and I will continue to do that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll try to up pot some and we'll go from there. I don't know. But let me show you what I got from the nursery. So I got these from the nursery. These all look great. And so on the side facing me are all watermelon. So I got 6 watermelon. And then the side facing you are all pepper plants. Right. So these are 12. These were These are 12 plants, 6 of each. So again, the reason why, again, I'm buying only what I need. And so even though I start seeds to save money, and because imagine if I had to buy 480 plants, right? That would be astronomical. But even though I start seeds, I still buy transplants for the things that did not go well or the things that I didn't grow, or like in this case, the things I don't have enough of. Now, for the watermelons, I started plenty of watermelon, but y'all, I'm having the same issue that I had last year. The watermelon that I like to grow, that I love to grow, that is my favorite, is strawberry watermelon. I've only seen Baker Creek sell it. For whatever reason, y'all, these plants are not, it happened to me last year and it's happening, the same thing happened to me again this year. They are not germinating well. And then when they germinate, they don't look good. I started these plants probably like a month ago and they look like this and they don't look healthy, right? And I'm not going to say I know it's not me because it's about me, but I've grown 1,200 other plants that look amazing, right? So case in point, I grew those jalapenos. They're a little yellow because they need to be in the ground, but they still look good and healthy. These tomatoes, if they were out of these pots, I mean, they've been in these pots for, I don't know, what, 12 weeks? You know, but if you look at it, it still got some life. It just needs to be in some good soil, right? Anyway, my point is, I know that it's not me because everything else has done fine. And I also have another Baker Creek example of something that is not doing well that I'm going to show you as well. So the strawberry watermelon plants, I started plenty of them, but they do not look good. So I don't think I'm going to have enough. So I've just had to resort and buy some transplants, and these transplants look great. I got a mixture of Crimson Sweet and Jubilee. These look great. Mine don't look anything like this at all. And then I got some non-spicy bell peppers. So I got some orange, and like this one already has a pepper on it. These look great. I got some orange and yellow bell peppers as well as some green bell peppers. Look at these. Those look amazing. Y'all know I don't like green bell peppers, but let me show you. Let me tell you what happened when I got ready. Oh, I got some more here. These are Anaheims. So that's going to go in my spicy row. They look great, y'all. Absolutely great. Look at these. Now you can tell the roots are not as good because they don't have as much as the air pruning size, but they're going to be just fine. Look at that. Okay, so I have these 2 6-packs. So that's a total of 12. They look great. Very mature. I also got this. If you're not growing lemon thyme in your garden, what? I mean, are you a real gardener? What are you doing? Get you some lemon thyme. This stuff, it's like intoxicating. It isn't. Look, I smell it more than I smell it more than I cook with it. But that's gonna change. That's gonna change. I love this stuff. Oh, it smells so good. Anyway, I got one of these. This is a 5-inch pot. So 2 6-packs of the total 12. The lemon thyme. And then I got a 12 of these, okay? The 12-pack of these individual ones were supposed to be $30, right? So that's still a good price. If you divide 30 by 12, that's less than $3 a plant. So that's like $2 and some change, right? For a plant, which is great because what are you paying at Home Depot? $5.98, okay? So lesson number 1, if you are not familiar with your local nursery, go get familiar with your local nursery. 100%. I buy transplants from Home Depot. When I'm there, I see them. I'm like, oh yeah, let me get that. But let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna always be cheaper at a nursery. Okay, a plant for $2.99 versus $5.98 is gonna be cheaper. These 6-packs were $5.99, so essentially $6. So you're really paying $1 a plant. $1 a plant, y'all, versus going to the big box stores. So get to know your local nursery and go up there and cozy up, okay? But let me tell you what happened. I got 2 6-packs, which is a total of 12. I got a 5-inch lemon thyme plant, and then I got 12 additional plants, right? Guess how much my total was? Drum roll, please. It was $45. I got all that for $45. Let me tell you why and how I got it for $45. Number one, the Lord looks out for me and gave me some favor. That's number one. Number two is because I have a relationship with the lady in the nursery. Okay. I've been going there for probably 3 years. She knows me when she sees me. Okay. I was about to say something that might not be true. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Anyway, she knows me. She knows me. When I hit the door, hey, how you doing? Doing fine. A year or so ago, she gave me like, I think it's a 5% discount. She's like, whenever you come in, I'll just give you a 5% discount because you're always in here. You're so nice. Da, 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 da. I was like, oh, thank you so much. Didn't ask for it. Today, y'all, when I got up to the register, the manager was at the register. She was the girl who was helping me, she was coughing. So she was getting her a drink of water. She was going to ring me up, but something slid down her throat the wrong way. And so she was getting some water. She was right there. And so the manager came up. He's like, hey, I'll take care of it or whatever. So he started to ring me up and she said, those plants are buy one, get one free. Now, I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Right now, they do normally mark the plants down, but that's not usually until the end of June. I can go in there and the plants are like, buy one, get one free. You can get them for like 50 cents or $1. And so I'm like, I said, man, y'all starting early. That's good. Thank you. And the manager looked, he was like, no, they're not buy. She said, no. It's buy one, get one free. And he was like, today? She said, yeah, today. And I'm watching this interaction. And he's like, he has a look on his face like, now how you know it's buy one, get one free? And I don't know it's buy one, get one free. And I think he's like a manager or something. And he was like, no, I don't think that starts today. And she said, it is for her. And he just looked. And he said, oh. And he rung it up. Let me tell you something. Listen, you can't be God-given. I don't care how you try. You cannot. Listen. When I tell you the Lord will get in that thing and work it out with you. Now, let me tell you what happened. This was on my way home from running errands all day. And I had already planned to go by there, and I knew what I was going to be buying, right? And I had already planned, okay, the sale's not going to be there, but I figured it's going to be $3 a plant. I figured I needed about 20 or so. Then, that's $60 plus, whatever my eyes see that I may want. So I'm thinking if I get out of there $100 or less, I'm to the good, right? Well, I had went to another nursery earlier that morning that a friend had told me about that just opened. So she's like, you need to go by there. So when I went by there, it was okay. But I was really needing vegetables, not flowers. They had tons of flowers, but not vegetables. But I ended up buying some stuff for my front yard for my planters, right? If y'all were here last year, y'all remember the planters, okay? We're going to do some work. I'm yapping now, but we're going to do some work. So I went by there and I got 5 plants. And she told me my total. She was like, that'll be 45, such and such. I was like, okay. I was like, which is not bad, but I'm like, it was like $7 a plant. I think it was like, $7.99 or something like that a plant. And so in my mind, I was like, I wasn't really trying to spend that much money. I was like, Barbara, get a grip. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got all this stuff at home. What are you doing? Do you ever talk to yourself about the money you spending on plants? You're like, girl, what you doing? You like, girl, I'm getting me some more plants. And then you turn back to yourself like, girl, you ought to get it together. Do you ever have this conversation with yourself? Anyway, I got in the car. I put my plants in the trunk. I was like, $45 for these little 5 plants. But let me tell you, the Lord restores because I got 6, 12, 24, 25 plants for the same amount of money. Don't tell me what God can't do. Don't even tell me. Because if you do, I'm not listening. Okay? Y'all, why y'all got me out here acting up? Why do y'all have me out here acting up? Okay, y'all, we got to get to work. So the first thing we're going to do, my drip is on. So we got 15 minutes before the drip turns off. Let's go try to get our bell pepper plants in the ground while the drip is on so it'll get watered. We only have 6. Okay, y'all, let's do this. Y'all, I'm so glad that we serve an amazing God who cares about, some people will call it the little things, but he just cares about what you care about. So anyway, I was excited. So I'm getting ready to plant this row. So this is actually the second row. This is the non-spicy pepper row. And so what I'm planting in here are the yellow and orange bell peppers that I got from the nursery. You can see kind of where I'm starting. I'm probably about a little bit over halfway down this row, and you can see I have all of that left to plant. That's how short I am on peppers. I don't know what happened on my count with the peppers. I'm not sure, because I should have enough peppers, but something went awry. Anyway, I'm going to plant these 6 peppers, and then in the rest of the row, I am going to fill in with some flowers. I have some rudbeckia, I have some gomphrena, I have some zinnias. Also, I think I told you guys that I'm doing a little bit of a different strategy with my squash and zucchini this year. Normally what I've always done is I've done squash and zucchini all in one row. Like in one of these rows, I've done, let's say 10 to 12 squash, and then flower, and then 10 to 12 zucchini, and then maybe something else to round out the end of the row. Well, this year, I'm only doing like 2 or 3 squash in a row and just kind of sparsely populating them, meaning I'm not nearly planting as many as I normally do. So it's definitely not going to be 20 out here. I will succession plant. So I will have some as the season continues to go. But what I'm doing is I may put 2 squash in this row at like maybe the end of the row, and then if I go to the row that's right beside it, I may do 2 zucchini at the opposite end of the row. What I'm trying to do is to confuse the pests and to try not to have the pests take out a whole row. And so I saw this strategy on another Instagrammer's page, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that. I am going to try that. I definitely think if you had a ton of raised beds, it would work in there, just to put one squash here and then another one, somewhere else, and then surround it with herbs. Now, when you're planting in ground, again, my holes are 18 inches apart. So, I mean, it's close, but in a raised bed, you can make it even closer. You could have an herb like right up under, where the squash is. But in ground, it's kind of hard to do that. But I'm hoping that this strategy will work by putting, 1 or 2 here and kind of spreading them all throughout the entire in-ground garden instead of them all being in one row. And worst case scenario, the pests come and they get eaten, but that was already happening. So I don't lose anything by doing it this way. Also, with me not planting as much at one time, I like that approach too, because what I've realized is that I like to eat the squash fresh. I don't particularly care for it after I've frozen it. And so I really don't want any squash to freeze. I just want to be able to eat it fresh. When it comes to zucchini, I don't mind whatever we don't eat, I will freeze dry it, and then I'll shred it and then I freeze dry it. And I can put those zucchini shreds in bread. I can put them in lasagna. You can hide them in a multitude of ways. And this year I want to make some zucchini flour. So I have some plans. Okay, this row is almost complete. We have, I think, 5 more spaces. Light is coming at the end of the tunnel. Now let's go over to another row. So now I am on row, I think this is row 6. And this is the spicy pepper row. So a couple of years ago, I started separating my spicy and non-spicy peppers. And actually, one of you guys taught me this, is that when you have them all together in one row, then they can kind of pollinate each other, and your regular bell peppers are supposed to be non-spicy end up being spicy. So since you guys have told me that, I have kind of separated. So I have them separated like by 2 or 3 rows, and that has worked out really well. And even when I do my peppers in the hot tunnel, I may have a bed for spicy and a bed for non-spicy. So that seems to work out good. So what I'm planting now are the Anaheim peppers. I tried Anaheim peppers last year. I had very little germination, and I actually had Anaheim peppers this year, but I'm not quite sure where they are. I told you I had somebody helping me to plant my stuff, and I was thankful for the help. This is outside of the planting party. I had a girl that I had hired to come help me plant the greenhouse, and I don't know, y'all, that thing went awry. It's like this catch-22. It's like you need help, but then sometimes you're like, okay, I need you to do it the way I would do it. Anyway, let me not get on that tangent. I'm thankful to have the help, but there's just some things that did not go the way that I would have done them. Hence, why my peppers missing? Number two, where are my Anaheims? Anyway, it's a whole situation. So anyway, I have 6 Anaheims here, and my goal with the Anaheims is to be able to have them, and I think this is what makes green chilies. So I want to kind of roast them and can them into little bitty jars to use as green chilies. I hope I have that right. Y'all let me know. But I think the Anaheim peppers are the green chili peppers that you buy in the little can to add into like Mexican cornbread and things like that. If not, we're going to find something to do with them. But they look good, so I should hopefully be able to keep them alive, and we should have a good harvest. I've never ever had Anaheim peppers before grown in my garden, so I'm excited to see what happens with this. Okay, guys, so we've done 2 rows. So the bell pepper row, or the non-spicy pepper row, we probably have 4 or 5 left. I don't have any more. Well, I have the green bell peppers. I've got them to decide if I'm going to plant the green bell peppers or just give them away. I don't particularly care for green bell peppers, but I may could sell them. But I don't know if I want to put them in that row. So I'm holding off on that. Then I just was on the non-spicy pepper row. I still probably have another 10 to 15 spaces to fill there, which I do have more jalapenos that I can put in this row, in that row. So I think I'll fill it up with jalapenos as well as flowers and things like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll see. But I'm moving over to the watermelon row. I have a few more minutes of daylight. And so this row is planted a little differently than everything else. So as you guys know, we have paper, landscape paper down. The holes are 18 inches apart, except for where we have the corn and sunflowers planted. That spacing is 6 inches apart because you don't need that much space. But everything else is 18 inches apart. And we have something in every hole. In the watermelon and cantaloupe row, I only grow watermelons and cantaloupe in this row, but I will skip a space. I will plant my watermelon every other space. And in the spaces where I don't have watermelon or cantaloupe, I will plant some type of pollinator crop. I will either plant basil, marigold, or lavender. All of those are great companions for watermelon and cantaloupe. And the reason why I'm not planting them so close together is because watermelons need space to vine. They need 3 feet on all sides. And so if the holes are 18 inches apart, if I go every other hole, then they are automatically 3 feet apart, right? I have 3 feet going out laterally, and then I also have 3 feet within the row. So it doesn't take as many watermelon / cantaloupe just because I'm going every other one. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting our watermelon planted. And then my cantaloupe is up at the house. And again, my cantaloupe looks better than the watermelon, but it don't look as good as I want it to look. So we're holding off on that. But let's go ahead and see what we can get in the ground, because Operation 48 hours. We're trying to get as much done as we can within 48 hours. One thing that has been really good, that the weather has definitely been cooperating. It's been a beautiful week here in Tennessee. No rain, clear, bright, sunny skies every day, averaging like 70, 75 degrees. So you cannot beat that. I just wish I would have had more time. But because I'm about to go out of town, well, by the time you see this video, I'll probably be on the way back. But because I got to go out of town, I had to do a lot of stuff for clients in my business, which means I had limited time in the garden. But anyway, we go ahead and get this row started with the watermelon and the cantaloupe. So I have some crimson sweet watermelon as well as some jubilee. And then I just alternate with the lavender and the marigolds and the basil. That's another thing, y'all. I normally have tons and tons of basil, and I don't have tons and tons of basil. Y'all don't know what happened to my stuff. I have no idea. But normally I alternate with basil. I mean, I have basils in my GREENSTALK. I have basils in the inside garden, but I don't have tons left over. I think I have 2 left over to plant in this row, and that is it. But I'm also gonna interplant or alternate with lavender, which is a great companion plant for watermelon. So at least that'll make it pretty, because I have a ton of lavender. A ton of lavender. This is why I always say you have to plan before you plant. Like, otherwise you're going to end up in a situation like this. And y'all, I did plan. Yeah, I don't know what happened with my plants. Anyway, I keep saying the same thing over and over. So basically, I'm doing the watermelon. I got to go up to the house and get the cantaloupe. But when I'm doing it on this day, I don't do the cantaloupe. I'll wait 2 or 3 days because I'm trying to get my cantaloupe to look better and bigger, which is so odd. Now, with the watermelon that I told you that I love to plant, it's called strawberry watermelon from Baker's Creek. This is the 3rd year I've had an issue. The first year, 4 years ago, they were great. They did wonderful. But ever since then, these seeds, something is not right with these seeds. And I say that because if I've grown 1,200 other plants successfully, it got to be these seeds, right? And then also in my purple hull pea row, which those are from Baker Creek, that row, very spotty germination. So I've go ahead and seed started some seeds. And so hopefully when I come back, I will have some plants I can just put in the ground. Now, case in point, again, how I know it's not me, in my purple hull pea row, half of the row is purple hull peas, seeds from Baker Creek. The other half of the row are rattlesnake beans. They're from M.I. Gardner. Y'all, it's the same row, the same amount of sunlight, the same amount of moisture on drip. The rattlesnake beans have 90% popped up and look great. So I know that it's something with the seeds. I just don't understand. Okay, guys. So another thing that I'm doing is I've decided I'm going to try to uppot a few tomatoes in a hope that I can save them so that I can use them in my backyard garden. I have all Roma tomatoes here. I have a few on my paste, but I'm only going to do the Romas. You can see just how bad. I mean, they don't look terrible, but they don't look great either. So I'm going to uppot them. And again, this is not much bigger, but it is bigger. I don't want to invest in trying to find big pots, which I have some big pots, but I don't want to do that because that's way too much soil. And this is just going to make it nice and neat as a carrier. So we're going to try it. This should only take me a few minutes to uppot all of these. And then when I come back, hopefully they'll be looking better. I'm going to be gone for, I don't know, a week. So hopefully when I come back, they'll be looking better. And then I'll be able to use those in my backyard garden when it's time to pull out my onions and my garlic. We're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. So, hey, it doesn't beat a try. And I'm only doing a certain amount. I'm only going to do 12 and we're going to go from there. The rest of the tomatoes that may not look as good by the time it's all said and done, that I will just compost those is what I'm thinking. So let's just get to it. So why I chose to only uppot the Romas is because, again, the hope is for this to go in my backyard in one of the raised beds behind me once the garlic and the onions have been harvested. And I chose Roma because Roma is a determinate tomato, which means it's going to be more bushy and it's going to put on all of its tomatoes at once. And I won't need an intricate trellis system for the Romas. I will stake them, but I don't want to do a tomato like an Amish paste because that's an indeterminate tomato. Or something like a Brandywine, anything that's going to be indeterminate, it is going to keep growing, throughout the whole season and put on its fruit all throughout the season versus all at one time. But it gets like 7 to 8 feet tall. And so it's very hard to contain that in a raised bed. A lot of people want to use those tomato cages. Tomato cages are good for determinate tomatoes. They're not good for indeterminate tomatoes. And if you're new to gardening, I mean, that's just simply what it means. A determinate puts on all of its fruit at one time. So those are going to be like your Romas, and it's going to grow in a bush-like, more compact. It gets maybe 4 feet high versus an indeterminate has an indeterminate amount of fruit. It's going to keep growing and growing all season, and it continues to grow to like 7 to 8 feet tall. So most of the tomatoes that you buy in the store or seedlings are going to be indeterminate most of the time. So that's the reason why I'm doing the Romas, because I know that I can do them in my raised bed. And remember, I'm doing a heavy emphasis on paste tomatoes this year more so than ever. I reduced the number of cherry tomatoes and I upped the number of paste tomatoes because I want to have the paste tomatoes because they're better for sauces and things like that because it doesn't have all of the water and the moisture content. I did a reasonable amount of slicers or like beefsteak type tomatoes, but
I heavily reduced the cherry tomato load, just because cherry tomatoes, you really only use them on salad. And that's the reason why I reduced it. But anyway, I get these up potted. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes to up pot them, y'all. You can see how green and yellow they look, but I cannot wait to see what they look like in a week after being up potted just a little bit, fertilized, and watered every day.
So now I'm back out at the high tunnel. I'm going to show you what I was able to do over the last couple of days. We're down to the final hours of Operation 48 to get this done. But the last thing that I have to plant is some cantaloupe. And I wanted to show you, I've been waiting and waiting all week for it to look better. It ain't looking better at all. But I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the ground. I think that's what I'm going to do. And if it's not good, then hopefully I can buy me some cantaloupe starts. But let me just show you. This is what the tray looks like. They look okay, but they're not nearly as big as they should be. And these seedlings are probably at least 5 or 6 weeks old. Look at that. I mean, they look okay. This is some of the strawberry watermelon right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the ground. We're gonna see what happens. And then I have some strawberry watermelon. I even have some sangria watermelon, and then I have some cantaloupe. And y'all, my cantaloupe, it don't look that great. We're gonna get it in the ground. We're gonna see how much we can get in the ground. And then for the most part, we're almost there. We are almost there. I'm gonna take you around and show you all the progress. But first, let's see if we can get this in the ground.
So I start off with putting the cantaloupe in the ground, and I'll tell you, I did maybe 2 or 3, and then I just decided to change course. They just did not look good and look too small. Like, I just felt like they were not going to make it because they were just too little. So I put 2 or 3 in the ground to test it. I chose the biggest ones, and then I just decided to wait and see if they'll get bigger, which I've been waiting. They hadn't gotten any bigger, but I'm going to try it one more time and just see if they get bigger. If not, I really hope that I can find me some cantaloupe starts, you know, when I return, and that I won't have a hard time finding them, because I really, really, really want some cantaloupe. Now, I guess I could always restart the cantaloupe, obviously, but it's good to kind of have a head start. But I do have a long growing season, so I should be able, if I wanted to start, but I really don't want to have to do that. If these don't work, I would rather just buy some starts like I did with the watermelon and keep it moving. But I do 2 or 3 cantaloupe, and then I do about 2 or 3 of the watermelon. So the watermelon, I have strawberry and I have sangria. I think I did 3 strawberry because those are the ones that were the biggest, and big was relative. But we'll see what happens when I come. We will see what happens when I come back. Maybe they'll be taller and ready to go into the ground. If so, that is a huge plus.
Okay, guys. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. We got, I would say, 95% planted. Let me turn the camera around and show you what all we got done. I'm very thankful because I pretty much met my goal. Let me show you. This is the row we were just in. So you can see from the beginning all the way down here. We got all the way to like right here. So I probably have another 15 spaces that need to be done, but I decided to not do the rest of the cantaloupe. They were just too small. So I'm gonna just see what happens over the next week or so. I'll plant them out, or either I'll try to find me some more starts, or I'll do something different here. I could even put squash in this row just because it vines and all of that. So that could be an option as well. I have plenty of space to vine. I could put a couple of squash in here. If not, then we'll fill up the row with something because I still have this much left. On the row right beside it, kind of the same spot of where we stopped. So pretty much from here forward is done, but then all behind me is not done. So that's probably another 15, 20 spaces. Other than that, everything else is 100% planted. I do have some stuff to go in this row, but not enough to fill it up. I want to get me some different, this is the spicy pepper row. I have more jalapeno plants that I'll put in here, but I also want some other type of spicy peppers. I'm going to see what starts I can find when I get back. That's why I'm waiting to plant the rest of this row. But every other row is completely planted. That's the tomato row. Here is the pollinator row. It's nothing but flowers. Here is the non-spicy pepper row plus okra plus green beans is all in that row. The space that you don't see is where green beans are supposed to pop up. Here, this row, we have tomatoes at the end, but then all the way up there, purple hull peas and rattlesnake. And then this here, this row is the non-spicy pepper row.
And then we have our first patch of corn up there on the left-hand side.
Okay, so starting here, here, rattlesnake beans. You can see they've germinated, looking great, all the way up. All the way up. That one didn't germinate. That's one that didn't germinate. That's two that didn't germinate. This is the beginning of the rattlesnake row. Everything else to that table are purple hull peas. Weed, weed, weed. One germinated there. Weed. Another one germinated. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, y'all. That's, I think, 22 spots. Now, y'all, come on. It's not the gardener. It's not the gardener. Everything else looking pretty nice. I cannot wait to do our first garden tour. Probably we'll do it, start it at the end of May, and we'll be doing garden tours every single month. Cannot wait. One of my most exciting things. So I cannot wait to see what it looks like when I get back. And y'all, I feel good about what we accomplished. The purple hull peas, I have some that I started as seeds. They are just now germinating and popping up. And again, a little bit more of a controlled environment. And not all of them have germinated, but I would say I have at least 50 or 60%. And so hopefully that'll be enough to fill in all of these holes, and I will have plants to put in the ground when I come back. That is my hope and my prayer. If not, I'll just start them again. But yeah, that's just so odd. Same row, same situation. And I put 3 peas in each hole for the purple hull peas. 3. And y'all see the results, like 6 out of 22. Versus rattlesnake beans, 20 out of 22. Anyway, but y'all, we got a lot accomplished, and I'm so glad. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and the last couple of days in the garden as we try Operation 48. And you know what? I feel good about what we've accomplished. Like I said, I have a few more things to do, and I think I have a little bit more time before I leave, but I'm gonna go ahead and end the video now because we're 95% there. We are 95% there. I'm so grateful for my friends. They got me 50% of the way there, and thank the Lord, me and these hands got the other 45% done. I hope that your gardens are doing well. I cannot wait to do a garden tour at the end of May when I return, and we'll be having garden tours every month. I cannot wait. The summer gardening season is starting, y'all. It is starting. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I will meet you back here in the next video. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's do it together. I'll see you next